when you think about this process, that he's still at the epicenter of free agency and dictating his own terms.
Yeah, and I think it's for a completely different reason. 16 years ago, the New York Knicks spent 2 seasons getting themselves into position where they could pitch LeBron James. He dismissed their pitch in a matter of minutes. And then now, because he's willing to play for essentially next to the league minimum, any team has the option to go get him. So it's a completely different situation. Back then, there were just really a couple of teams he was considering. Now he could consider 10 teams, as Rich Paul outlined on another recent podcast interview. I don't think he's actually considering 10 teams, but the idea is that somebody could get a player like LeBron's caliber for next to nothing in NBA dollars. And so while it is a repeating of LeBron being pitched, in some ways it's extraordinarily different and very unique.
Yeah, Vince, I want to bring you in here. When you hear Bob Myers in the words, the process that he's trying to use here, what stands out the most?
Just the fact that we're doing this on reality TV. Like, this is the most reality TV. This is the most 2026 thing of all time. The fact that we're not having clandestine meetings and high rises in Cleveland or Miami or LA or wherever. You're having on a podcast with Rich Paul and Max Kellerman. Like, that is where we are in terms of the basketball culture. But when I hear Bob Myers talk, it's almost like he knows that he doesn't have the best hand here. He doesn't know who has the best hand, but he knows that he doesn't have the best hand. And the most important thing is this. We all have to be honest, and Wendy is like the prince of pessimism when it comes to these things. We don't know what LeBron wants. Like, normally it's a max contract and then another max slot to bring one of LeBron's teammates along. But right now, LeBron is at the stage of his career and his life where money is not the most important thing. We don't know what matters most to him at this stage. If it's winning, if it's comfort, whatever it is. And we're going to find out what that is based off of his decision. And the most important thing Wendy said is you're talking about a veteran minimum player, so to speak, who can command a lot more. Are you going to ask him to do max salary contract things on a minimum deal?
We saw it on the whiteboard on the Rich Paul and Max Kellerman podcast. They laid out at least the teams we believe to be in the mix, one of them being Cleveland, Wendy, and we know that Donovan Mitchell signed the extension this week. How do you think that factors in potentially to LeBron going back home and finishing his career with the Cavs?
I don't think it factors in really at all. Donovan was going to be on the Cavs this year no matter what. LeBron is making a year-to-year decision. The investment in Donovan Mitchell is a 5-year investment for the Cavs. They want him to be their cornerstone and franchise centerpiece going forward, no matter whether LeBron wants to get there or not. And by the way, that would be the case in any of these teams LeBron is considering. He's not considering any of these teams where he would go in and be the centerpiece player. That's why he's only going to make a minimum contract or an exception. If he went to Golden State, Steph is on the verge of getting an extension. Giannis Antetokounmpo is trying to get an extension. Obviously, in Philadelphia, there's 2 or 3 players you could consider franchise players. All of these places, LeBron is coming in as a supporting piece. Donovan Mitchell, that situation with his contract would have been that way no matter what.
Over Jordan, how do you hear the commissioner, the interaction, and everything that's going on right now with this Brendan Sorsby saga?
Well, I wasn't surprised by the question and maybe even the reaction by Yormak, because if you've been to these media days, every one of these media members kind of has their story already written. They're waiting for that one little soundbite. So that was a very pointed question to get a very pointed reaction. But here's the thing. Are we still trying to pretend that the NCAA has any kind of power at all? Right? Is the Big Ten going to start going after Indiana? Because Sorsby was there gambling. He admitted to gambling there as well. I mean, I just don't think it matters at this point. Texas Tech tried to play or wanted to play Sorsby knowing this. They're the ones that should have been gone after. The Cincinnati stuff, that's a moot point. The Indiana stuff, that's a moot point in my opinion now. I think it was the league was rightful to go after Sorsby and Texas Tech. That played out the way it should. He's not going to be on the football field. Let's move on.
Jordan, year 2 for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson's system, year 3 overall. What areas do you think he needs to improve upon the most?
Well, everybody's complaining about the completion percentage. Why did it dip from his rookie year to year 1 under Ben Johnson? Well, it's because he went from probably the lowest yards per attempt his rookie year in the NFL to a team that wants to, in a system under Ben Johnson, wants to push the ball downfield. So you expected the completion percentage to dip a little bit. What he's got to start to understand is he doesn't have to be a home run hitter every single time. If Ben Johnson dials up a play that is designed to hit downfield, if the coverage is there, you don't have to force it. You can check the ball down. You can find Luther Burden as a quick outlet, a guy that can make plays after the catch. So he's got to take a little bit of the home run hitter mentality off his shoulders, realize that he doesn't have to put a Superman cape on every single time. You can be efficient in this offense while still being explosive if you make smart decisions. The guy broke a record that stood for 24 years for the most single-season sacks. But I think even more than that, it's not just the sacks. It's how he dictates to an offense, how he impacts the game even when he's not sacking the quarterback. I think a great example of that is week 17 against the Steelers. Steelers had a chance to beat the Browns, who had lost 7 of their last 8, to lock up the AFC North, rest their starters week 18, and they were so worried about Myles Garrett that they couldn't score on offense. The game plan was so designed to keep him away from Aaron Rodgers that they didn't bother trying to score any points that game. So he can impact a game whether he's sacking the quarterback or not, because the entire offensive game plan has to be designed around how do we keep this guy off our quarterback.
Yeah, he sacked quarterbacks 23 times last year. That's the career record. No need to spend much more time on this. But number 2 on the list is a little interesting because it's Micah Parsons. Despite the ACL tear and he's not coming back to start the season, he is the second best pass rusher in the eyes of these execs. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. I think you look at Micah Parsons, the impact that he had going to the Green Bay Packers and what he did for their defense. I think, yes, he's injured right now. We don't know exactly when he's going to be back. But when he comes back, we don't have any reason not to believe he's going to be at full strength. And when he's out there on the football field, he is a second best pass rusher in the NFL. He will be pushing Myles Garrett in the next few years of trying to get to that top spot. Micah Parsons is a different type of animal, different type of beast out there on the football field. And you can't just say just because he's not going to start the season, he shouldn't be the number 2 guy coming off of last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's interesting. He will have such a big impact. I was looking at the schedule for the Packers to start this year. They didn't win a game without him last year once he got hurt. The start of this season is a lot easier than the end of last season. Obviously, they're starting at the Vikings. I still think that is an easier win than at the end of last year. At Jets, Falcons, at Bucks. I think that if he doesn't come back until October, I think the job is easier for this defense to get by without him, knowing that that's how they're starting the season.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the schedule right now. 2 division games in the first 6 weeks, which you mentioned, starting at Minnesota there. Do you think they stay in the division hunt with Micah Parsons sidelined?
I think so. I mean, even though they do have those division games, I do think that those are easier. Obviously, you'd like to have him, I think, down the stretch a lot more than you'd want to have him at the start there. I mean, he's a difference maker. They did make some additions in the draft, added an edge in the 4th round. They got some depth there. Nobody is Micah Parsons.
And I think to your point, Brooke, last year he gets hurt, and all of a sudden, just like that, he's gone off the field. This year, new defensive coordinator John Gannon, you come in understanding he's not going to be there. So you start to scheme and develop and do things knowing that, hey, we have to fill that void, opposed to a season ago where when it just happens and you don't have the pieces around you to try to fix the problem.
Settle down, Joe. It's June 29th.
I need answers now, Wendy. I need answers now.
The Eastern Conference is definitely in some level of flux. We see the Celtics considering, taking their team a little bit apart. We see the Hornets making 2 deals where they traded 2 of their core players away. Giannis is definitely an impact player, but I'm not sure the Heat are going to be in position to really compete for the East. At least I can't say that yet. So Toronto definitely sees a lane here. I mean, even Philly is, facing serious luxury tax implications. I'm not sure they're going to re-sign their few key free agents. So, we're not seeing a lot of pressing. Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet may be on other teams by tomorrow if they Knicks stick to the Jim Dolan mandate of no second apron. Well, I'm not seeing any Eastern Conference teams that are arising as serious contenders. Waiting on Miami, we'll see. And now I see Toronto seeing that, as Vinny said, and looking to try to find that lane.
Could we actually see something like this happen?
I think it should be in the discussion here. I mean, I think everything should be on the table here. I think, today will play a big role. That's when Draymond Green has a $27.7 million player option. Also, the Bronny James contract becomes guaranteed in Los Angeles. Also, where the Golden State Warriors are right now, if Draymond opted in, they have not as much flexibility to offer LeBron a $15 million contract. Now, if he opted out and signed for a little bit less, that certainly opens up the window here. And now you're asking, how does the LeBron-Stephen Curry tandem match up to San Antonio and Oklahoma City? We're not quite there yet. There's got to be another move out there. And I know they're hesitant to move off Jimmy Butler, but I think if you get LeBron James in the fold, I think you have to look at all your options. This is a Golden State team that can trade 3 first-round picks and use that $57 million expiring contract and go try and get another all-star out there.
Let me ask you a follow-up. If you thought about it and you had some opportunity, who could be one of those all-stars?